Hi, Lorcan. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, I'm fine. So I watched The Surfer and it was quite an intense experience. It was unsettling, but also thought-provoking. So I wanted to know what was your reaction when you first read the script?
Well, I didn't start with reading a script. I read like just a short outline first because I'm friends with the writer Thomas Martin. We've known each other for a long time, so it started with a couple of pages, and I thought, yeah, this could be really interesting. It's following a man's disintegration across a short period of time, and it's quite aggressive and punishing, and it's also from the character's subjective point of view. So the audience will learn about everything that's going on, just as the character learns about everything that's going on. So um, all of those elements appealed to me in the first place, and then when Tom wrote the first draft, it was just even better, and it felt like a film that we could make in Australia as a exploitation, a kind of a contemporary version of a new wave Australian film that we were both really inspired by as filmmakers in the first place.
So yeah, I would like to ask something on the similar line. That is, how did you decide on the visual language? Because there are like extreme close-ups and high saturation and juxtaposition of contrasting sound and visuals. There's clearly a very strong visual language. So how did you decide on it? And also, how would you describe your filmmaking style?
I mean, I kind of approached the the aesthetic and then and visual language of the film from the characters' point of view. So the character's returning to this place, and he has this sort of nostalgic view of it because he grew up there as a child, but then left for a very long time. So like, it's almost like approaching it from his distorted memory, which would have been that sort of 60s, 70s type thing. But then because we're also inside his head, I wanted it to be quite a psychological film where the audience feels what he feels. So in order to do that, there's ways of like, so like you say, the super close-ups and long lens, like we use some very long lens zooms because you can't zoom with your eyes. You can zoom, your eyes can dolly and track and jib, but they don't zoom. Like zooming is much more, it feels like you're inside someone's head, like everything is getting bigger and bigger and becoming, suffocating or intense. And then part of the story itself, there was a lot of heat involved in the script, where like
Yeah,
it
yeah.
got hotter and hotter across the days that he's there. So like art department, production design, and costume and everything all work together. So we used no kind of cool colors; they're all hot reds, yellows, um, burnt oranges, and then we use these vintage lenses that were great for flare, like lens flare, and we use flame bars under the camera to create additional heat distortion, and perspex mirrors to like film into to bend the picture, and quite kind of old school in camera visual effects techniques to really just like get into it, get it, make you feel like he feels, basically.
Yeah, you feel the heat just from the screen. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was wondering, is there anything that you want the audience to take back from the film?
Yeah,
Anything
I mean,
you hope?
I hope they enjoy it, and they find that it's like on one level a thrilling, exhilarating, entertaining, twisty ride that is not what they probably expect from the trailer.
Yeah.
Um, and then on another level, there's the kind of weird journey, like the psychological Jungian journey that this character goes on through the film, which is open to interpretation as to what the meaning of the sort of last 5 or 6 shots in the film coming together leaves him with, because it's a film also about kind of rebirth and shedding of the ego, and him figuring out what it is that he wants instead of what it is that he needs. you know, and the materialistic kind of goals that he had at the beginning kind of gets shed as the story goes by. So, and you know, there's the elements of this masculinity in crisis, where men can easily be manipulated by other men to belong to something, because like ultimately he's coming back to a place where he was born, but he's being told he doesn't belong there anymore. So there's all those kind of things that I'd like the audience to come away and think about and discuss with their friends, you know, after seeing the movie.
So I am sure you've been asked this question a number of times, but I would still go ahead and ask, how was it working with the legendary Nicolas Cage?
Yeah, it was great. I mean, we got on very well. We had a good collaboration, and he's, you know, super seasoned, experienced actor who's amazingly prepared and has great energy. He likes to work fast, so do I. So we we had a good kind of vibe going on throughout the film, and we had a good time. I think some of the funny stuff that we were discovering while making the film ended up in the film, which I think gives it a charm.
Yeah. So I wanted to know that you are at present in the psychological thriller horror space. So I was wondering, do you intend to explore other genres, or do you want to stick to this?
Now, of course, other genres. I mean, sci-fi. I'm working on a sci-fi film, a kind of near future dystopian fable story, another kind of, I don't know, horror comedy thriller. I mean, I find the genre quite interesting as a filmmaker because you're not bound to reality. So there's a lot that I can explore from filmmaking techniques and visual language and playing with music and color and imagery and editing, and you know, that I might not have as much opportunity to play with if it was like a straight up drama, you know. So but I'm interested in all types of film. It's like the same as music, you know, I don't only like certain type of music. So
Yeah.
you know, I like to try things. So who knows?
Okay. And finally, what do you think is the future of indie cinema? How would you want the future to be for indie cinema?
Well, I hope people, you know, there definitely is an experience that's different when you go to the cinema and watch a film with people, with an audience, together as a communal thing. And I hope people continue to do that because I think it's really important and I think it's good for society. And I think, you know, individualism has taken over a little bit. And obviously the streamers don't want people to go to the cinema. So I think like in order to protect the culture of cinema going, the audience need to do that by going to see independent films, you know, because if they don't, then the independent films won't get made. So I think it's a collaboration between the filmmakers and the audience to keep independent cinema alive.
Thank you so much for giving us your time. It was great talking to you.
Great. Lovely to talk to you.